This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Danny, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me through this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy Nairn Kirkwood, Chad Welsh, Sean McGuire, Yanis, Ricky Morissette, Albert Lorenzo, and Eddie Costello. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Zim Zim to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. And we want to thank and acknowledge Andrew Taylor for increasing his pledge over at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. Thanks so much for your generosity and your support. We really, really do appreciate it. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 45 and 46 of Lord of Chaos.
Yeah, so chapter 45, we have a bitter thought, and chapter 46 is Beyond the Gate.
Yeah?
We get some stuff that happens.
I mean, kind of.
I mean, yeah, we get
kidding.
We get a
Just
reunion.
Kidding. A huge reunion.
We get a parent meeting, family meeting, which is awesome, like a reunion
and
style.
Awkward.
Oh, it's terrible. It's just like the worst.
Awful.
The worst thing ever.
It's just as bad as anything Perrin and Fael have ever done. It's not worse. So.
But it gives us a lot of backstory, and it explains why she is the way she is.
I mean, that's fair.
So, there's that.
That's true.
And then we get action, we get stuff.
We get some weird action.
Yeah, we got to talk about that too, because I got to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, but before we do, I have a great fun fact, because in this episode we get Demira, the Aes Sedai, thinking about how cats seem to sense something about Aes Sedai, and she's never heard of any story about any sister even being, scratched. But for whatever reason, dogs are almost hostile towards Aes Sedai. So clearly it's like a bit of a play on the whole witches and cats thing that we get just like a little taste of. So I have to do Witch Facts 3.0.
Okay.
So here we go. We're going to jump into it.
Sure.
So the question is, why are witches and cats connected? Right? If you think of Halloween, if you think of black cats being unlucky, and then witches are evil in quotations, how did that all kind of come about?
Sure.
So on the first side, I want to talk about the cats. So if you think about cats, back in the day, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, cats used to be, or thousands of years ago, they used to be revered.
Right.
But around the 14th century, they started to become linked with the devil. Because if you think about cats, they do a lot of spooky things, they've got glowing eyes, they're kind of nocturnal, they're unnaturally quiet, and they can fall from really high and they don't get hurt. So there's some spooky things going on. So what happened was in the 14th century, cats became linked with the devil, so a lot of them were actually killed during the Black Death pandemic, which turned out to be a huge mistake because the Black Death was being spread by rats, and having cats would have helped cut down the number of rats.
Yeah, that was bad.
But anyway, so on one hand, we had cats kind of becoming a symbol for the devil. And then on the other hand, we had witches, who were people who would do things like healing and medicines and things like that to help people.
Connected with nature.
Exactly, connected with nature. So the Christian church didn't really like people going to witches to solve their problems. So propaganda started to get spread that their magical powers stemmed from the devil too. So then there was also the connection between witches, living in nature, having pets, which would turn out to be cats sometimes, right? So there was a connection between witches and animal companions. So then they just kind of got lumped together, and by the 16th century in Europe, a lot of people started to believe that witches were evil, and then since they would have cats as animal companions, the cats were evil too, and it evolved into witches being able to turn into cats to sneak into people's homes to hurt them and do things like that.
I see.
So just this really unfortunate connection between cats and witches, and
I can't believe you're going to make us do a shot before we've even started the episode.
I don't even know what that is a reference to. But anyways, wait. Let me finish this.
Okay.
So, and then, witnesses would claim to see witches turn into cats and sneak into people's homes. And then when witches would be tortured to confess to their crimes, they would admit to it because that's what torture does. So then typically cats would get caught up in the same witch trials and be subject to the same fate as their owners. So witches and cats, there is a connection from the past, and that's kind of how it all came around.
All right, now you tell me what famous witch turns into a cat.
Right, the British one.
Nope.
Is she not English?
Scottish.
Scottish one.
Mm-hmm.
McGonagall.
You got it.
McGonagall. I got it. Okay.
That's the one.
There you go. Okay.
That was a gimme. That was a little bit of a layup.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'll go. We're not even prepared.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Maggie Smith, fun fact.
Yeah. She is English,
Yeah.
but McGonagall is Scottish.
Yeah, in the books, McGonagall's Scottish because I knew she had tartan pajamas. So that was a big deal.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she turns into a cat.
Yes.
Yeah, that's...
Witches and cats.
Witches and cats. Oh my. Shot glass from our trip in December.
Yes.
To...
We finally get to use it.
To Banff. This is our first time using it.
Yeah.
And so we did. We remembered. Here's the follow-up. When we were recording, when we were there, we're like, we have to remember to get a shot glass. We did.
We did it for the first time.
Very cool.
So.
There we go.
And it's got a nice little picture of the gondola going up Sulphur Mountain.
That's right. Gorgeous.
Yeah. So cheers.
Cheers. Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah.
For me, do you drink always? Yeah. You just take shots by yourself.
Hey, you know.
Oh, she burns.
You okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. We got to start this chapter here.
Let's do it. Oh, you want to know what happened last time?
Oh, right. Yep. Sure. I always forget that we do that.
Yeah, people want to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a little while. No, it hasn't.
It's been like 3 days, maybe.
Yeah, because Tyler was just here.
Or it's been 0 minutes and you've just went on to the next episode.
Ooh.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, or it's been like 2 months and...
Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, last time, the Aes Sedai and Caemlyn had their meeting with Rand, and we weren't invited.
Correct.
And it went...
Okay.
Medium for everybody.
Yeah, super medium.
Now, then we skip to Matt getting told that he basically has no choice but to go to Ebudar, and then they just, leave.
Yeah, made a gateway and they're gone.
They're gone.
They're on their way, and it's going to take longer than they expected.
Right, because Egwene has a plan.
Yeah, longer than Matt expected.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And Egwene has a plan that I'm still not really...
Yeah. No one's really sure. We know that there is a plan. We don't know exactly what that plan entails.
Okay.
But it's a good plan. Okay. It's a great plan.
Now, this is funny that we got our parent perspective a minute after Tyler left.
It's
so
really
that
good.
makes me laugh. But chapter 45 is a bitter thought.
Yep.
And the chapter symbol is a wolf.
Yeah, here we go.
What's the bitter thought? Who's having a bitter thought?
Yeah. It's a good question.
Bashir?
Maybe.
About Perrin?
Maybe. I didn't actually really look for exactly
what me neither.
There's a lot of bitter thoughts.
This always happens.
It could even be Vilner because he's the one who's got
Oh, that's true. Okay, let's talk about this guy because I was very confused.
Oh, I know. And I knew when you were reading this, you were probably like, oh my god, am I supposed to know who this guy is?
Yeah.
No.
No.
This is a guy who's here.
Saldaean guard.
Yep.
Wandering around the streets of Caemlyn.
Well, he's leading a patrol.
Wandering around.
Yeah.
Zoning out. Patrol is boring.
Yeah.
And nobody's really causing any trouble because there's Saldaean guards and Aiel everywhere. Plus, it's the Dragon Reborn. Who's
it's also hilarious because typically criminals are now turning themselves into the Saldaeans so that they don't get caught by the Aiel.
Ooh.
Because it's so much worse, which makes total sense. So,
I wonder if they're picking up a little Giotto, turning themselves in for their crimes.
Well, I think it's more like they don't want to get beaten because we know the Aiel just...
But I mean, whatever your motivation... You're turning yourself in.
Sure. Yeah. It's such a fun little cinematic shot, too, because we get this perspective of this guy we've never met before.
Yeah.
And he's he has an entire backstory.
Yeah.
In the page and a half that he's here.
Yeah. It was actually quite a bit.
Yeah.
He wants to marry some girl. The maidens wanted to play Maiden's Kiss, which sounds harmless. He thinks,
but he's like, they're making eyes at each other when they're saying this.
You don't quite trust them.
Don't trust them.
Don't do it, man.
Yeah.
He also thinks about how he really wants to see an Aes Sedai, but he's super nervous.
But also, he probably totally has already seen one.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't think that he's seen one.
Yeah, but he
doesn't quite know what they look like.
Yeah, but he specifically at one point, he's like, oh, I saw a woman, and I couldn't tell how old she was, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
But it's that's the
it.
description we usually get is oh, I can't tell how old she is.
Yeah.
So he probably has.
Yeah. Oh, especially considering he literally went to the inn where all the Aes Sedai are staying and there was women coming in and out of it.
He's probably saw a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah.
So.
All right. Now, when this guy and his patrol make it to the White Bridge Gate, he sees Perrin on a horse riding up completely by himself like he wanted.
Exactly.
Good for Perrin.
You were right. That is just Perrin coming in to see Rand.
That's it. That's the only one here.
Yep, you got it.
He
Nailed
did
it. Nailed it. It's really funny because this procession, so it turns out it's not just like, oh, Perrin or no Perrin on the Aiel and Fael.
No.
It is hundreds.
Everyone.
There are literally hundreds of the Two Rivers
Perrin,
men.
You're so bad at getting what you want.
It's what Fael wants. It's what she wants.
Oh my god, he's so bad at getting what he wants.
Okay, so
I thought for sure the Aiel. I thought for sure Loyal.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Fael, but I even said Fael would stay back.
And handle the Two Rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah.
That was 100% not accurate.
Completely wrong.
Yeah.
God.
Did not nail that one.
No.
So this is the procession. We got literally hundreds of the Two Rivers bowmen.
Yeah.
Which is really funny that the Saldan, the guard
the
notes.
longest bows he's ever seen.
If you remember back when we were in Faldara, we had the Shienarans were making fun of
They're
Matt
because
they're like, oh,
you're
stupid. How are you going to shoot that from a horse?
Yeah. And he's like, I don't.
Yeah. We've got the Aiel. We've got Aram with his sword. We've got a gigantic horse that's totally for Loyal.
Okay, hold on though.
Yeah.
I need to say something about Aram right now.
Okay.
So this patrol guy, I've already forgot his name.
Yeah.
Vilner notes that he knows this guy is dressed like a tinker.
Yeah.
In yellow coat and red pants or something weird.
Yeah.
And so, are you telling me that Aram has not changed his clothes?
Yes.
Since leaving the Tinkers?
He probably has a bag full of clothes. He's holding on to that part of his identity.
That's surprising. That was the most surprising thing in this for me.
Oh my goodness.
Is that he's still wearing tinker clothes.
Yeah.
When he's clearly removed himself from the Tinker Society, but he still wants to stand out.
Well, here's the thing. He didn't so much remove himself from the Tinker Society as he was removed from it.
Yeah.
If you remember, he still wanted to talk with his grandparents.
Yeah, he did.
He still wanted to talk with them.
And they said,
and they're like, yeah, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So he is still trying to hold some part of his identity to the Tinkers. That wasn't...
It was very surprising to me.
He just wanted to defend his family. That's what he wanted. He wanted to defend himself and his family.
Yeah.
He's not abandoning everything that is Tinker.
Yeah, okay.
So...
I think that in my world, if I was abandoning everything that I knew and loved...
But he's not!
But I would be salty about it.
Yeah, you would be.
I'd be salty, and there's no way I would be wearing a bright yellow coat so that people think I'm still a Tinker.
You are more like Nynaeve, less like Aram.
That's fair.
So,
yeah.
Well, she might be salty too. I don't know. Okay, doesn't matter. We also have the giant horse, but Loyal is not here.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, ooh, where's Loyal?
Yeah, but there's a little note there, so, And then the funniest part is that he sees Perrin. He's like, oh, that guy's the leader, right?
Yeah.
And then he sees Fael, and he's like, oh no.
Yeah. Oh no.
What is she doing here?
Oh yeah. Also, they have a white banner with a red wolf's head.
Yeah.
And there are 3 Aiel with them.
Right, yeah, it makes sense.
Too. Yeah.
Literally everybody's came along.
Here.
So.
And the guard guy is like, oh no, her mom and dad are here and they're gonna be mad.
And he's like, I don't want to be the one to have to bring her to them.
And he's gonna be.
Poor guy.
Yeah, so that's the end of his perspective.
Yeah.
And now we're in a Perrin perspective.
Yeah.
For the first time since book 4.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we are. Perrin has made his way to Caemlyn. He is riding into Caemlyn and he stops his little procession. Not little procession, it's a big one.
Well,
Because the Saldaeans are cutting him off and they all have their hands on their sword hilts, I don't want any trouble here.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird tension too because Vilner recognizes Fael, but the question is why is Fael, the
here
daughter of Lord Bashir, here? What is happening?
Yeah.
Is this a hostage situation? Is this a...
Yeah, and then Aram's like, let's cut them all down.
Yeah, so, okay, hold up, Aram.
Yeah, and he goes, there's only 10 of them, and you and I could cut through them ourselves, which signals to me that Aram has leveled up.
Yeah, yes, he is getting good with that sword, and he's getting a little bit... arrogant?
Maybe, and
cocky?
I wonder if they've come across other people they have had to cut down.
Yeah, I mean, possible, bandits, that's totally a thing that could have happened, so, yeah.
I was like, how does he know that? How is he so confident about that?
Yeah, it makes sense, and they fought a lot of Trollocs, so, They're just men.
But turns out Perrin says, no, we're not fighting.
Yeah, and the most important thing, I think, in the chapter is it starts here. So Perrin has this cool new ability
to smell emotions.
He smells emotions.
I don't think that's new.
It is new at the level that we're getting here.
Okay.
So this is a ramp up of what we've kind of gotten hints at, but this is like he smells and intentionally like feels out what people are thinking.
Yeah, because Fael smells anxious and these guards do not smell of fear.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's just like a note, and we get that a bunch of times in this chapter, and never before have we gotten it to the extent we do in his perspective.
No, that's true.
So it's just like a thing he does now.
Okay.
He sniffs you.
Oh, would you like to know my emotions?
Not even a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. We can get into why.
No, it's fine.
No, like we can see why, yeah, just like not why you specifically.
No, I was going to say me specifically. Do you want to know? I feel like I do a pretty good job of letting you know.
You communicate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
I noticed from across the room.
Yeah, yikes. Okay.
That your face is telling me that you're not happy right now.
I'm a little expressive.
Yeah.
Okay. So Perrin introduces himself to the guards, and Vilner does the same, and like really emphasizes that he's sworn to Davra and Bashir.
Yeah.
And then completely avoids looking at Fael.
Yeah, he's doing like the
yeah.
Davra and Bashir is here.
Yeah, and so he also tells Perrin that the Lord Dragon's orders are that no noble can enter Caemlyn with more than 20 guards or 50 servants. And 50 servants. So Perrin tells most of his men to go camp a couple miles away, and he sends Aram with them.
Yes, and most importantly, Daniel is in charge.
Daniel.
Do you remember who he is?
Yeah.
He's the 4th Taviran boy who got cut.
Oh, is he?
He got axed.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Poor
he's the guy.
Daniel.
But don't worry, he's looking after the camp.
Okay.
I just have to point that out.
Well,
he's like
here and he's doing some stuff.
Know, this is the guy. He was the guy.
That's hilarious. Good fact.
Yeah.
All right.
If anyone doesn't remember that one, there was supposed to be a 4th Taviran boy.
Originally
which is
in
Daniel.
Eye of the World.
Yeah, and he got cut, and then that's why there's only 3 boys.
Yeah. But he's still a character.
He is.
All right. And now Perrin also thinks about how Fael is the reason that there are so many of these people here.
Yeah.
Because he even has servants traveling.
Oh, yeah, he's
with
super
him.
uncomfortable with all this.
Yeah.
Side note, too, Perrin thinks of Aram as turning into like a little wolfhound.
Right, he's too eager to use that sword.
Yeah, it's like just because you know how to use a sword now doesn't mean you have to use it at every turn.
Yeah.
Which probably is totally a thing, too.
Oh, sure.
Like, I could see even, like, you know, Tam, when you first get into the mindset of, like, I'm really good with a sword.
Tam is amazing and has always been amazing, so...
Like, as an example, he probably would deal with people...
I think it's different when your entire life, this thing has been...
Like, forbidden, and now it's like, oh, you can do it and you're good at it.
Yeah.
And then you just always want to do it,
yeah.
so... Yeah,
that's that.
Cool.
Yeah. So now, while Perrin sends his people off, Fael chats with Bane and Chiad, and they go running off.
Yeah.
And Gull says, I must find my spear brothers, and takes off. And I'm super pumped for them.
Oh, in what sense?
This is what I've wanted.
Oh, because
I want them to go reconnect with their Aiel.
This is huge.
Hear about everything that's been going on.
It's really funny because
the only thing that they know... at this point, are rumors on the road.
Yes.
Because even in the Two Rivers, they really had no idea what had been happening with their entire society.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a huge point, too, because it really sinks in for me when we get the Rand and Perrin conversation about how much time has actually passed.
Yes, lots.
It's so much time, because the last time Perrin and Rand were together was Tyr, right after they conquered it, and it's like so much stuff has happened.
Yeah.
The entire Aiel arc of everything. Mm-hmm. So the like Gaul and Bane and Chiad, they don't know about the Karn situation.
Nope.
They don't know about like the societies
Ruidian
breaking,
situation?
the Ruidian situation, becoming like a city that people live in now.
Nothing.
They don't know about
Rand and Matt going to Ruidian.
They don't know about the Shido. They don't know about like the Scarlet Headband guys. Like they don't know about any of this stuff.
None of it.
And we get all of the little tidbits from Perrin being like, "Oh, Gaul never talked about this."
Shido just like living in the
being a bunch of
yeah.
You know, it's kind of crazy. Like so much stuff has happened.
I know that.
But Perrin knows a little bit.
Bad for them.
Perrin knows a little bit about what's going on with the 3 of them.
Yes.
And by a little bit, I mean like a very little bit.
Very, very little bit. Weird love triangle.
Yeah.
Gull wants to marry Chiad. Chiad doesn't want to give up the spear to marry him. Bane seems to be a part of it, and Perrin doesn't understand.
Yeah, it doesn't get that situation. So
That's what I got. Those are my notes.
That's
on
it.
that.
That's basically what happened.
Yeah.
Perrin, for the amount of time Perrin has spent on the road with Gaul, like, he really doesn't understand much about Aiel culture.
No, none. He chose not to learn.
Yeah, he's like, no thing. But it's like kind of weird.
I don't think he said no thanks. I just think he didn't ask a lot of questions, and I
Gaul
think
wasn't,
Gaul
like,
didn't
forthcoming?
offer a
Yeah.
lot. Because in Gaul's mind, it's all obvious.
Yeah.
And in Perrin's mind, he's like, I wouldn't understand anyway.
Yeah, and it seems like Fael learned a heck of a lot from Ban and Chiad.
Oh, so
and
someone knows how to communicate. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and like asterisk on that, because like sometimes Fael can communicate, but
Yeah.
but Perrin just like doesn't. He doesn't.
Doesn't.
Yeah.
No. He's the quiet one.
He is.
All right, so now the crew heads off through the city, and while they're traveling, Perrin thinks about the reason he and Fael are a bit on edge, and it's her father.
Yes. Well, and mother. It's both. Perrin's more like worried about the father because that's the traditional thing for him.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to face him.
Yeah.
Tell him that he's a blacksmith who married his daughter and the heir.
Yeah, I love that he's like, maybe I could like write a letter.
Yeah, but
Just, like,
that would take 2 or 3 days to craft properly.
Yeah.
Perrin, this is why I hate Perrin.
You spent
If
months on
anyone
the
wants
road.
to know-
You could have multitasked.
If anyone wants to know,
Yeah.
this is why. 2 or 3 days to write a letter? Nope. Boring. Nope. I appreciate the sentiment. I understand everything that's going on.
But do you remember how much he struggled with that letter to Fael when he thought he was going to die in the Two Rivers?
That is so different.
That's like same.
And it did not take 2 or 3 days.
No, it didn't, but he didn't like writing it. He was like, oh, this is terrible.
I wish I had more time to
I wish I had
think.
2 or 3 days to think to think about this letter.
Yeah.
So.
Too much time to think. Boring. Yeah. So, Perrin is also noticing that the Aiel in the city have some scarlet headbands on.
Yeah, with the ancient Aes Sedai symbol.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Gaul didn't mention this, but that's because Gaul doesn't know.
Gaul doesn't know anything. But Perrin thinks that this is an Aiel thing.
Oh, yeah, totally. And, like, why wouldn't you? Because of all the... Perrin hasn't spent time with any Aiel except for at the Stone of Tyr.
Right, and
which
even
was, like,
then
not
was
really...
minimal because he was avoiding them. It was bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to fast forward to them getting to the palace. They're in there. They're at Rand's room. And a maiden goes inside for a second. And then suddenly the doors are flung open. And Rand is here. And he's so super pumped to see them.
He loves this.
This is so good. This is so heartfelt.
Yeah.
I really loved this.
It's like the same as when he saw Min. It's like the people that he knows and loves and trusts. And he gets like the little taste of home.
I finally am understanding Spencer's point about how rude and curt Rand is being with Mat.
Okay.
This is warm and loving and friendly.
Yeah.
And he's like rude to Mat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different situation. Maybe a little bit different stresses.
Yeah. And it's not like, oh my god, I missed you and didn't know if I was ever going to see you again.
Yeah.
It's like...
He's been with Mat.
He's like, Mat, do your fucking job. That's really what this
and
comes
he's
down
also
to.
seen Mat a lot more. Like, he spent the entirety in Ruidian with him and all that. Matt was there for the entire trip. Mm-hmm. But he hadn't seen Min. He hadn't seen Perrin.
I know, and so long. So
yeah.
I get that, sort of.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Rand greets them very warmly, congratulates them on their wedding. Perrin says, you know, how do you know about that? And then Rand starts talking about all the Two Rivers girls.
Yeah, it's a whole catch-up.
Here.
Yeah.
And then they go into all of that.
It's like conversations left, right, and center of all the stuff that Perrin doesn't know.
Right.
We gotta fill him in. So there's a lot of stuff we know from all these perspectives, and it's just Perrin doesn't, but now he does. He's gonna get filled in.
He's caught up.
Yeah.
Also, I was completely wrong about the Min not going straight back to the palace at every chance she gets thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you forget I said that?
No. Well, yeah. What did you say? You said that she wasn't going to go see him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, she's always there.
Yeah, she's here.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Every chance.
I don't know. I just threw out a random prediction.
She's like, oh, I'm going to go tour the city. And she just goes to see Rand.
Because the Aes Sedai, the one was like, oh, she's going to go right back to the palace. And I was like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe she's got stuff
Oh, right.
to do
You were
in
like,
Camelin.
oh, she's got a business. I'm like, she's never been here before. What business does she have?
She for sure has been here lots of times.
Maybe.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. I was wrong, and I'll admit it.
Okay.
So Min is here. She's just hanging out. She comes up. They have a nice little reunion. And Perrin gives her a big hug. And
Fael hates it.
She's so flippin' jealous.
So this is not the reason number one why I wouldn't want to be able to smell any emotions, because I don't need to know that. He's greeting like a friend.
Yeah.
Albeit, okay, in the mountains, there was that little incident, if you remember, where Perrin thought that Min was, like, telling him that she liked him.
Oh, yeah.
When she was really talking about Rand. He was
Rand.
like, Min, I don't see you. I see you like a sister.
And he's...
and she's like, no, idiot.
Yeah, he's been being an idiot.
So, but, like, he can smell the jealousy from Fail about him having some sort of connection with just another woman.
Yes. Not allowed. That's not allowed.
I would go bonkers if I could smell emotions like that from you.
I guess so.
It'd be terrible.
I also don't have extreme jealous feelings in the way that Fail does.
Yeah, I mean, it's also funny because parents like, oh, she's got like a slight tendency. It's like, no man, this is like terrible. Extreme.
Send her to the jelly school.
Yeah.
Because this is bad.
It's so bad.
There's a fine line between being jelly and being a hater.
And it really alters his actions too with what he does. Like as soon as he does, he's like, he puts her down and he like stops that.
Which is good.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
He needs to be able to smell it because he clearly can't pick things up. He doesn't understand small nuances.
That's fair. He's like, yeah.
This helps.
This
helps, I think, him smelling this.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so Rand and Perrin start having this conversation with each other about, like, Mistress Luhan curtsying and how Perrin's the Lord and how Loyal is spending a couple days at a steading around Whitebridge.
Yes.
That's the Archer Hawkwing one?
That's the one. And that's how Perrin knows about it. So.
Okay. Now, I noticed that we distinctly do not get any reference to Loyal's mother and wife-to-be and teacher.
There is nothing of that right now.
It's not like, oh, he went with them to the steading.
Well, and Rand also doesn't mention it.
No.
I mean, he's got a lot on his plate, so he
much.
might not even, like, remember that happened.
Yeah, there's so many things. That concerns me.
Well, yeah, they had left already.
Clearly.
And so his... the rest of the Ogier are like just behind.
That's the worst thing that's happened this entire book so far.
So they're just like walking. They're trying to catch up to him now.
Literally the worst thing that I've read in this book series so far. That is
so sad.
I've read so many terrible things, and this is the most terrible thing to do to these Ogier.
Yeah, it's not good. Because now they literally have to like walk to catch up.
Oh my god! And they're in
they
Camelin,
didn't want to.
Were in Camelin.
I know. Yeah. It's not good. It's such a bad. And the amount that they've walked, and they're like, "Oh, we have to get to him, or he's gonna die. Like we need him." So,
the fact that they walked past Kyrian.
Yeah.
When Rand just zipped.
If Rand had just let they would have crossed paths.
They would have.
They would have literally because there's one road. There's one road.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're buying Loyal time before he gets tied down and married.
Because as soon as himself in a steading.
As soon as Aerith catches up, not for long. He's gonna like. There's like the whole funny conversation about like him sprinting.
At least if they do go to the Two Rivers, the people there will be able to be like, yes,
they
Loyal
went that
was
way.
Here.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you just missed him. It won't be like a. What's going on? No one knows what's happening. It's like they'll get information and know to turn around.
It's just they have to walk a lot further, so.
Oh my god, this sucks. And it's all Rand's fault.
A little bit.
All of this.
It's also Loyal's fault. It's a little bit.
Is Rand's fault. Let's be real.
Okay.
Okay. That was a side note I did not expect to go to, and it wasn't even in my notes.
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay. Man, that sucks.
Yeah, so there's basically two conversations happening here. Rand and Perrin are trying to catch up with each other and like kind of chit-chatting about nothing.
Yeah.
And then we've got a separate conversation with Min and Fail, and during that conversation is when Perrin realizes that Fail's jealousy is like it's starting to dwindle away. Yeah, it's starting to go away a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Min's like, don't worry. I don't want Perrin.
Yes.
I want Rand.
And that's what
probably the conversation.
Yeah, because we can literally see Min like blushing or whatever it is too.
Yeah.
So it's clearly like, no, I'm with him. I'm with Rand.
Yeah, we'll discuss that a little later when we get another perspective shift in a minute.
For sure.
Okay. So Perrin notices that Rand looks super tired and different from the last time he saw him when they left here.
Yeah.
And Rand wasn't soft back then, but now he's even harder.
Yes.
And Rand isn't blinking enough, like he's kind of weird and on edge. Fail asks the Lord Dragon if she can borrow Perrin for a minute.
Yeah, super formal.
Yeah. So Fael pulls Perrin aside and says softly enough for only him to hear, if Rand isn't embracing Saidar, to be fair.
Well, he can't do that.
What? No, Saidin.
There you go.
I was like, why
Gotcha.
can't he? Yes, he can.
Yeah, so it's possible. You know, I don't think that he is. He might be.
No, it doesn't really make sense in this scenario for him to be, but if he happened to be, he could hear it, but she doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, quiet conversation. He's not your friend any longer. Basically, don't trust him.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, like, why do you think Fael is telling Perrin this isn't the guy he grew up with in the Two Rivers?
Because
he's the
Perrin
Dragon
is
Reborn.
still clearly very soft when it comes to these kinds of matters, and she wants Perrin to stand up for himself and the Two Rivers and not get, like, knocked down or bowled over by his childhood friend.
Okay. Do you think that it's, like, good advice from her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do, actually.
Okay. Yeah. That's, I just want to kind of get, because I've heard mixed opinions on that. It's like, why is she saying that about Rand? So.
Do you think it's good?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
I do. Because I do think that Perrin just kind of like, he would
just go with it.
He leads with his heart a lot of the time.
Yeah.
With what he feels.
After he thinks about it for 18 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is like a super emotional guy on that side.
Yeah,
it's like,
he is.
The fact that they don't really know Rand anymore. Perrin doesn't know what Rand has been through. He doesn't know the trauma that he's endured so far. Like, he's been through a lot of stuff so far between
but
Tyr
everything
and
he's
now.
heard are rumors, and half the rumors aren't even true.
Yeah.
So, like,
and it's
who
like,
knows?
watch yourself. He can channel. Like, he might be crazy. We don't know.
Well, and, like, from that standpoint, like, yeah, that makes sense she's saying it. But...
Yeah.
All right, so now the door bangs open, and it's Sulin, who's the worst servant Perrin has ever seen.
And it's so funny, because Perrin has no idea that Sulin's like Aiel, and the dynamic of it, but he's just like, she's terrible.
Weird and terrible. And then Perrin asks Rand if he ever thinks women are strange.
Yeah.
And then Rand's like, you're the married man. You'll have to ask Matt.
Yeah.
It's just, classic.
Classic.
Does
and
this
we
go
got
on
that
for
last
the
chapter.
Entire series?
It
this
definitely
is
might. Well, we've
funny.
got Matt now not believing that Rand knows what he's doing with women.
At least, yeah.
At least we've got one of that cut off. So
you
know what's even funnier?
It honestly does seem that Perrin is the best. But
possibly.
I think that he just happened to fall into place with a woman who could mesh with him.
Yeah.
And they stick together.
And she was like, hey, we're getting married.
And she's like, this is how things are. And he's like, okay.
Okay. Even the getting married thing, he was like, no, we have to wait a year.
Yeah.
And she was like, no.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. You know what's even funnier for the Sulin thing, just then Perrin thinking like she's terrible, is afterwards we get Fael thinking and saying out loud like, oh, the person who trains Sulin, she must not know what she's doing with training servants.
Yeah. Because like these
is
servants
Sulin
are
like a
terrible.
typical
Yeah.
So
oh man, and Caemlyn servants are weird.
Just the worst.
Oh, and side note, Perrin asks where Matt is.
Yeah, because he thinks that he's here.
And then we get that explanation.
It's like, no.
Hopefully we get Elaine here soon. The end.
Maybe he'll bring Egwene and Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Totally not anymore.
Yeah. So then, out of nowhere, it seems, Rand asks Perrin, would you go to Tyr for me?
Yeah.
And Perrin's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here.
I've been riding for 2 months.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Not going. And he's like, no, don't worry. I could literally have you there in 3 seconds.
Yeah, you can just like walk through this doorway.
Yeah.
You're there. You can
Which
sleep
I don't
in
think Perrin fully understands.
No, because Rand hasn't explained that yet.
No.
At all. He's not like, hey, I can make a gateway. It's a square in the yeah, you can just walk through.
Perrin wonders if Rand is holding on to his sanity.
Yeah, so why? At this point in the chapter, you probably maybe didn't know exactly why?
Why what?
The whole why is Rand asking Perrin, would you go to Tyr?
Well, because Matt's not there anymore.
Yeah, okay, so I just want to see if you picked up on that, because we kind of get the explanation at the end of these chapters.
Kind of, yeah.
Because Rand's like, yeah.
I feel like the issue with that question is, I didn't think about it at this point in the chapter when I was reading.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yeah, he wants people there.
Yeah.
He has somebody ruling in Kyrian for him.
Sure.
He has nobody in Tyr.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know.
The thing is, he's not asking Perrin to go to Tyr to rule.
See, I thought maybe, you know what, that's a lie. I did actually think in passing about Perrin being like in the stone of Tyr.
Sure.
And sort of maybe getting a hold on some Terran lords.
Gotcha,
who might
yeah.
Be like, 'cause
So,
it's been
yeah.
a while since Rand's like been there to be the leader, maybe.
Yeah.
But then
we get
later we get that it's the whole like battle thing.
He literally wants Perrin to
It's
be
the
the
plan.
Matt of the plan.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, I'll tell you the whole plan that only 4 people
But
would know.
only if you agree to go.
Yeah, which is also fair. Like, I'm not going to tell you the plan if you're not going to go.
Right.
Which makes sense. You don't just like
Okay.
share those battle plans.
Yeah, right. But anyway, Perrin just says he has things to do in Camelin first, and he'll think about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a really important conversation.
Yeah. So Rand talks to Perrin about all the things he's trying to juggle right now with the Forsaken and Nobles and Dragonsworn, and he catches them all up on everything.
Yeah. This is the hard-hitting question.
And
because
Perrin says, well, what does Moiraine say?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Oof.
She gone.
That's the really part of the chapter for me that really sinks in. Like, Perrin...
He's been gone for so long.
Perrin doesn't know anything about anything that's going on. And all the advice that Perrin gives Rand is just terrible advice because he's not caught up on the situation. Because first he's like, hey, what does Moiraine say? And Rand's like, she's dead, man.
Well,
she took out
yeah.
Lanfear. Well, he does say that.
No, he does say that.
Yeah.
I know.
I know
need
that
to
you don't-
reiterate my point in case anybody is questioning if I'm wavering. I am
Yeah,
not.
you think that Moiraine's dead and gone forever. It's fine. Yeah.
No.
And so is Lanfear, question mark?
No, definitely not.
They're both coming back.
Oh, yeah. If
Okay.
anyone's coming back, like, if I have to choose only one,
Sure.
it's Lanfear.
You want... Okay.
Oh,
wow.
no.
Oh,
Because, like,
jeez.
we
Okay.
have very serious confirmation about how Forsaken can come back. So, like,
Yeah.
even if they both died, Lanfear's still coming back. But
Well, okay, but they're in
here's
a different
but here's the thing.
multiverse of
I know.
sorts.
I know. But here's the thing. They're not dead.
They're coming
They're in a weird multiverse, and they're coming back.
Coming back, okay. And then the second follow-up question that Perrin gives, because this is also terrible advice.
What about Olenna and Baron? You said they were here.
You should ask them for advice. They're pretty cool, right? Because Perrin spent
Yeah.
a bunch of time with Olenna and
Although
Baron.
he thinks to himself he was always still a little skeptical of them.
He was.
Yep.
But
But
then-
they didn't bond him
Yeah, and which is only because of Fael telling Olenna that I'm going to kill you
if you do that.
if you try to do that.
Yeah. Now, Rand has yet to tell anyone
Yes.
so far that we know
That
of.
we know of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't tell Perrin here. He's just like, no, I told them to stay away from me.
Yeah.
And then more bad advice from Perrin. And Perrin's like, hey,
Don't
you should
anger
don't
an
anger
Aes
the Aes Sedai.
Well, that's not terrible advice.
It's all terrible advice because Perrin, you got to get caught up to speed, bud, on how the world works right now.
Yeah, before you start offering
You're the
advice.
he's the Dragon Reborn. He's gonna piss people off, especially Aes Sedai.
Don't put yourself between two factions of
Yeah.
the split up Aes Sedai. And Rand's like, no, this is actually the best plan. This is the best thing that could have happened for me.
Yeah, which is actually really interesting too because that's true.
That's his take on it.
It's
yeah.
a good take. Like I would say that's a great take because yeah, they are more focused on each other than they are
Instead
on
of
Rand.
one united front against him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's a huge thing. We've got two like competing embassies versus
Except to be fair, if it was still the solid white tower and Swan was in charge,
Sure.
I think that things would go pretty well for Rand.
I mean, but will we have the different factions scheming against Swan?
Yeah. But
For
then,
the-
there we
yeah.
are, focused on each
So-
other, not Rand.
That's the thing. So it's like yeah.
Always, no matter what,
Yikes.
that's the problem with the Aes Sedai.
But Rand's kind of okay with it right now. So, but again, Rand has a good point. Like, hey, I can't just like ignore and avoid all the Aes Sedai. I'm gonna make people mad because
Yeah.
I'm the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
So
Gotta do what a dragon's gotta do.
exactly.
All right.
Perrin just needs to get caught up.
Yeah. So finally, Rand changes the subject because he doesn't want to talk about Aes Sedai anymore, especially because Perrin doesn't have enough information to talk about Aes Sedai.
It's just like more bad advice.
Yeah. And so Perrin tells Rand all about what's changed in the Two Rivers
And what's the same?
and what's the same.
Very cute moment.
Yeah,
I like
it's
this.
nice, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing because Rand can't go back. He's avoided the Two Rivers.
And he's even going to not go to the camp to say
Yeah.
hi to all his like friends.
He just wants a little taste of home from the people that he knows.
Yeah.
Like he can't protect, Perrin and Matt,
Yeah.
but he can protect the rest of them, hopefully to an extent.
Right.
So it's a
Yeah.
very, very
and I
heartfelt
also
moment.
think that he probably has in his mind what happened with the girls in the inn when he was screaming at all of them.
Yeah.
And then like lifted one of them up with the power and was like, I am the Dragon Reborn, don't you see?
Yes.
And like freaked the shit out of all of them.
Well, that's the thing.
And he's like,
yeah.
I don't want to go and see people who I knew my whole life.
And they know Rand, and they might not actually take him as who he
He
is.
literally already had that experience once,
Yeah.
and it was awful.
Awful.
So, like, yes, the whole protect them, whatever, but also that.
Yes. I don't want to. I
Don't
don't
want that. Don't.
No, thank you.
No. So, Perrin's gonna go wash up and rest.
Yep.
And think about Tyr, because there's no danger involved, Rand says. He says, I'll tell you the whole plan. If you decide to go, you'll be the fourth man to know the real plan.
Yeah.
You already said that, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's Rand, Bashir, and Matt.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Now, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on with that plan?
Colin, what is the plan?
I can't believe that the plan is still a plan.
The plan is a plan, and it's still secret, and
Because
we're
it's
just
going on for a long time. I thought it would be wrapped up by now.
Yeah. Well, we got like minus 10 chapters or so left in the rest of the book, so
you know,
we're
it's
getting
been
close.
too long since I've heard or seen from any of those schemy Forsakens.
Okay.
No more Sammy Grandy meetups.
Oh yeah, we don't get those perspectives.
Where's that Demandred guy?
What's he up to?
Semirog,
Yeah,
right?
now you're just naming people. Yeah.
Yeah, where are they? What
are they doing?
I'm naming them to
Show
test myself, because I actually don't know if I remember them.
to show me that you know the names of them. So
Is that it? Is that all that's left? Is there more?
Osengar, Erengar.
Oh, those ones. Oh, that one. We know one. We don't know where the other one is.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Let's do this. Chapter 46.
Okay.
Another flip-flop. Flip-flop, flip-flop, back and forth.
Yeah, I like the perspectives because we get a lot of important conversations here.
Some could have been shorter than others, in my opinion. Some went on a little long here.
Are you talking about like the family meetup?
Yes, the
You
family
did? Yeah, okay.
meetup.
I figured.
I get the freaking gist.
Yeah. You're not happy with this.
Not so much.
You don't like the dynamic.
Okay, chapter 46, Beyond the Gate.
Yes. That's to do with the Demira incident because she went to the gate because she wants to go beyond the gate.
Oh, and she's not allowed.
Not allowed
to.
to.
the inner city, and she's
Yeah.
not allowed to go into the inner city.
She wants to go to the library.
She wants to go to the library. Let her read a book.
I want to go to the library. She wants to learn about the seals for the Dark
She
One's
does.
prison. Yeah.
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 Someone should tell her about those.
Yeah.
We have information, lady.
We do.
Yeah.
We know where all of them are.
And most are broken.
Yes.
Literally, like, one isn't or something. That's
yeah,
okay.
it's like
Don't quote me.
It's
There's
like three, I think. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's 3 at this point that we've got.
Yeah.
So.
I'm still not convinced that there aren't fakes out there.
Yeah, there might be. We don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, we know. There's
No.
And the chapter symbol, the flame of Tarvalon.
Yes. Okay, and just half a second here, I gotta pull it back to the A Bitter Thought from the last chapter. So the bitter thought was when Perrin thought to himself about Rand, hey, I hope he holds on to his sanity until the last battle.
That's a bitter thought.
That's the bitter thought, thinking of a friend that way.
Ah.
And that's important because Rand thinks the same thing about Perrin, and every time he ever
using everybody and everyone.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So, this next chapter, we are still in our Perrin perspective. The conversation with Rand is over, and Perrin is now walking through the halls, and he sees a man who is, without a doubt, Davram Bashir, standing there.
Oh, yeah. He does not look happy right now.
He knows what's up.
Yep.
Perrin goes over to introduce himself very formally with a bow, and Bashir just says, "We will talk."
Yeah, it doesn't even bow
Starts
back.
walking
Oh,
away.
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, also the spelling, he reeks of cold fury.
Ooh, he's
So again,
angry.
Yeah, it's all the Perrin smelling everybody's emotions, so he knows how they're feeling.
You know what? I would love this.
Okay.
I would love this.
Sure.
I hate the game.
Okay.
I hate not knowing if people are upset with something I've done or
Yeah, no.
I'm just like classic anxiety.
Okay.
What about that stupid thing I said? Do people think I'm stupid?
Can
I would
I-
love to be able to just smell
Can I
and
offer
know.
can I offer an opinion that might make you change your mind?
No.
Okay.
I mean, yes,
Okay.
you can, but it won't make me change my mind. Go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in theory, it seems like it would be super beneficial.
Yeah, it's beneficial.
You can smell the emotion they're feeling.
Yeah.
However, you don't know why they're feeling the emotion that they're feeling.
No, I'm pretty good at that, though.
You could get a lot of things wrong just by being like, "Oh, she's
Get a lot of things
angry."
wrong without that.
Yeah, it's true, but
Most
it's like
things. I get more things wrong trying to guess the emotion they're feeling based on the things they said.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let's watch Perrin go through this, being able to do this.
Perrin isn't good at anything.
He's
though.
not you.
Here's the thing.
So
This is me we're talking about.
I also don't want you being able to smell what I'm feeling, because like if I'm not telling you something, maybe there's a reason I don't want to tell you that I'm feeling a certain kind of way.
What aren't you telling me?
I'm reeking like cold fury right now or
What are
something. I am just furious.
What aren't you sharing with me?
But you know what I mean? It's like kind of
No, I
intrusive.
don't.
It's intrusive.
I like that.
If I'm not vocalizing my
You
thoughts,
should.
then they're not
You
your
should
business.
you should be vocalizing your thoughts with me.
Oh man.
You should want to share with me.
I'm just never going to shower again. So then I just smell bad all the time. You can't tell. There you go. Problem solved.
Well, that's a good way to find yourself without a wife.
There you go.
All right.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. All right. Okay. All right. So now we get to a sitting room. Bashir fills some cups with wine, but doesn't sit down. Power move.
Yep.
So Perrin doesn't either.
Good.
Power move.
Awesome.
Bashir
This is going
starts
really well.
saying, I suppose Zareen told you about all my estates before you married her, and
Yeah.
all about the broken crown.
He's like, I bet you didn't even sign a prenup or nothing like that. It's like, get the
and
heck out of
Perrin's
here.
like, no, she said you were a fur trader and then a merchant and then sold ice peppers. Actually, I can't remember which was first.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
She lied and lied and lied and lied.
I have actually no idea. And then I fell in love with her and married her anyways.
Yeah, but also she made one too many comments about like stuff about like general talk and
how
leading
my
people.
dad said this is how generals should act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of really funny because this is a hilarious scene to me because at first Bashir is like, hey, Zareen, and then Perrin's like, Fail. And then he's like, who the heck is this Fail? I'm talking about my daughter Zareen. Because if you remember, way back when,
I remember.
What was her original name? It wasn't Fail.
Mandar.
It was Mandar.
I did remember that. Are you impressed with me?
Yeah, I am. I'm so happy about that. So, like, originally...
That was funny.
Yeah, I know. It was so funny because, like, that's a horse.
That's the name of Lan's horse. Hey,
Now,
where's Lan?
What?
Where's that guy? Where's Mandar Van Lan?
What does Mandar mean in the old tongue?
Oh.
Ooh, okay.
Strength.
Nope.
Black wind. No, that's
your... That's your homework.
My homework?
That's your homework, yeah.
I can't Google anything.
Look back through your notes. You didn't take a note on that?
Oh, I have my notes are not well organized.
It means blade.
Blade, you say. Okay, yes,
Okay.
I wouldn't have ever found that out. Okay, so, anyway.
Really funny conversation happens now.
Bashir gets sidetracked with the Hunter of the Horn conversation because he didn't know she went to go be a Hunter of the Horn.
Which actually, he seems happy
He's like,
about.
yeah.
He's like, yeah, get it. That's awesome.
That's right. And then the conversation turns back to the real issue, which is you and my daughter got married.
Yeah.
And she's not old enough to be married without her mother's permission.
Well, it's also a really interesting conversation because, like, oh, your supposed marriage, and Perrin immediately takes offense to it.
He's like, no.
What are you talking about, supposed? Like, we got married by the book.
We're married.
Yeah, which is,
according to the women's circle.
Yeah, like everything in my culture, we are 100% married.
Yeah.
But that's a big issue because he's saying, no, you're not until you're married by my standards. And if she doesn't convince her mother, then I'm taking her back to the camp.
And killing you.
And I get to kill you.
Yeah.
And then Perrin's like,
and
you
it'll be
take
a
her.
shame to kill you.
It's such a funny conversation because Bashir's like, well, I have 9,000 men with me. What are you going to do? And Perrin's like, are they harder to kill than Trollocs? Because I'm going to kill them all.
Yeah.
Which, legitimately, he's got like 500 Two Rivers bowmen. He could take down a lot of the soldiers.
Yeah, especially when they're doing fancy horse tricks all the time.
It would not be a good bat. And then, like, he's got wolves. You know, you could be like, get all the wolves here. Let's get them.
Except there aren't wolves here.
No, not for, like, days. But, you know, he could plan something out.
No.
No?
No, I don't think he has control over a wolf army to attack a city.
He's got to get. Get Fail back. No.
Not that way.
Oh shoot. Okay.
No,
that's what I would do.
Yeah. No. If anything, he would sneak her out like they did at the White Cloak camp.
Oh, smart. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Anyway, so they have this like crazy conversation.
It escalates pretty quick.
Yeah, Perrin does his classic crush his silver goblet in his hand
and
move.
Wine spills over my hand. Yeah. I mean, the last time that happened was when he found out his entire family got murdered.
Yeah,
so.
but it's 2 more times than any other character.
That's true. He's also like a big dude.
Yeah, I think that's just reminding us of that.
He's a big, strong guy.
Kind of showed Bashir like, oh.
He's got a little bit of anger. And from what we can tell from Saldaean culture, anger is a good thing.
Yeah, we like that.
Showing your emotion is good. So it's actually like a very important thing.
Feistiness.
I'll kind of point this out later, but Bashir comes to Perrin's defense in the conversation with Diarra, with the wife, right? And here is when he's pushing Perrin's buttons to get reactions out of Perrin to show the emotion, because that's how you show you care.
Yeah.
If there's no emotion, there's no caring. And that's part of the issue that Perrin and Fael have, is that Perrin doesn't show her that he cares through yelling and things like that.
Right.
We've gotten that multiple times
Right.
when she wants a reaction out of Perrin and he's giving her nothing.
Yeah.
Who does that remind you of?
You?
Yeah, you and me.
Okay,
yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. Okay. No, like, there's like some similarities where
Well,
I was bad at communicating, at telling anything about anything.
Yes, you very much were.
And you're like, hey, you got to share some of those things.
And I was over the top with my emotional reactivity.
Sure. And then over the course of time,
we were good balance.
It balances out.
It balances out.
So there you go.
I wouldn't say I was as crazy.
No, you're not like as crazy as the Saldeans, because they're just nuts. They're
as
pretty
Fael,
psycho.
I was gonna say.
It's all of them, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not as stoic as like these are fantasy characters who
no,
are
exactly.
written
like
to their extremes. But,
no, yeah, for sure.
And we're regular people.
Yeah.
Not
like this.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clarified.
No. Yeah.
There are some
I would say we're more
similarities.
similar to like Alan and Nynaeve, because I equate myself so much more to Nynaeve than Fael.
Okay.
Like, even though I don't like Nynaeve as a character to read about,
I wasn't doing like a
still
1-to-1 comparison here.
I'm gonna say if I'm gonna be compared to anybody, I'm Nynaeve.
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
not
that's
Fael.
Fine. That's fine.
Just saying.
Fine.
And I know there
but
are people.
Fael's Gandalf, so like, why wouldn't you want to?
There are people who really like Fael, and I can admire a lot of things about her.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I can.
Okay, let's get back to it. So, anyways, what I was gonna say is Bashir. He wants the reaction from Perrin because that shows that he's going to be a guy who can take care of his daughter.
Yeah, and then we also get a weird little thing about how we need some new blood up in this family because we've all been intermarrying for too long.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. It's not new information. You should already know this. Because way back when, in chapter 41 of The Shadow Rising, come on, why don't you remember this? Fael talks to Perrin about her family, and she says she's pretty confident that her father's going to approve of Perrin, and the family blood is growing soft because her dad talks about that all the time, and her mother wants her to marry someone who can split Trolloc skulls, and Perrin's got that down.
Yeah.
But Fael thinks Perrin should lead with the King of the Wolves thing.
Yeah.
So it's really because we literally heard all these opinions from Fael's point of view earlier.
Right.
Which makes sense why she says the thing that the mother does when we first enter.
Okay.
The yellow eyes doesn't mean that you're a wolf thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Even though, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
he's actually very concerned about becoming full wolf.
Yeah.
That's a real thing that he's concerned about. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not like intermarrying too. It's like the Saldanes marrying Saldanes. Right? You got to get outside populations to come in.
Okay, so not like cousins?
Yeah, it's not like a cousins thing, I don't think. It's more like a Saldanes marrying Saldanes marrying Saldanes for generations.
Okay.
You got to get new people in to form new connections and strong bloodlines.
Sure, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not really sure of the order that these things happen in.
Sure.
But there's one point where Bashir says that Fael is a better name.
Yeah.
For her than Zareen, and
Yeah.
he kind of like scoffs at the name Zareen anyway.
Yeah.
Her mother.
That was her
picked
mother's, because remember what
Yeah.
Zareen means.
Yeah, something. Sit on a pillow and eat bonbons and
Exactly.
men come to you or something.
Exactly. And that's totally not Fael, so.
No, and then we get Perrin all of a sudden taking Humble Avenue out of this town.
Yeah.
To say, oh, I'm actually just a blacksmith. I'm no lord.
I'm not actually a lord of the two rivers. And then Bashir's like, hey,
yes,
idiot.
you are. That's
wanna know
literally how this works.
That's how all noble houses get started, is like way back when somebody did something
in the
and
past.
then became a noble. So yeah, you're a lord of the two rivers.
Yeah.
Which is what Fael's been trying to tell Perrin, but Perrin doesn't get it.
He'll get it.
Okay.
Well, I think that he already has got it.
Yeah.
Like when he's around the people of the two rivers who just see him as a lord, he doesn't constantly go around going, but I'm a blacksmith.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
sure he doesn't. If he does,
Yeah.
this is awful.
It's the same way he took the wolf thing, where he's like, I don't have a connection to wolves, until finally he's like,
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
connected.
But now he's talking to someone on the outside. He's like, actually, you know about lords.
Yeah.
I'm not one. And he's like, yes, you are. So now The topic of conversation goes back to Fail, and Perrin says, I know how to treat her well, and Bashir does the traditional threatening the boyfriend thing.
Yeah.
And says,
like,
you know what?
I'm
You gotta go talk to her mother.
Yeah. Because he's like, I'm going to bury you in the backyard if you treat her bad or whatever. So
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now they get to the room where Fail and her mother, Diera.
Yeah, I think that's how I pronounce it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're there. They go in. They've clearly been fighting and slapping each other.
Yes.
Plus, side note, Perrin thinks his mother-in-law is super hot.
Yeah. Enough about that.
That's about it. That's all we really need to know about that. Fail goes to Bashir and is like, we were just talking about you, and gives him a kiss on the cheeks, and Perrin's all grumpy because he's not getting any attention.
Yeah,
It's
well,
kind of weird.
Well, no, it's more like she is intentionally not showing him any affection because he wants her to acknowledge him as her husband, and she's clearly not.
Well, no, parents need to give her permission to have a husband first.
Yeah, so she's doing that cultural thing, and he's like, we're already married.
Oh, I remember. I had a thing I wanted to say, and we got off topic. And when we got back on topic, I couldn't remember it. So there's a strangely contested thing about how actually old Fail is, right? Like that was changed in the books or something to make her older.
Yeah, well, sort of. It's not really contested. Originally, she was going to be written younger, but then she got aged up a little bit.
Yeah.
So...
But she's not old enough to marry someone without her mother's permission?
Yeah, but we don't know what that means. That could be like 20. So she was probably, I'd say 16, 17. So now she's like 18.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think originally she was like maybe a year or two
14
younger.
14 or 15, I thought.
So, yeah, so that wouldn't
I feel like we
be,
had this conversation and we never really talked about it ever again. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, she was aged up properly in the book before it got, like...
I guess. And even then, it's like still like, ugh.
Well, it's kind of, she's basically like Egwene's age.
Okay.
Like, she's on par with that.
All right. And that's like the Amyrlin seat. So are you really going to contest the Amyrlin seat?
Exactly. You can't do it. So.
Same with Elaine, right?
Yeah, and for all we know, like, Saldean culture is like you need permission up until age 20 to get married. Like, who knows? It's not like
No, I think that
18 is a super arbitrary cutoff for us.
I know. I think that this line, this whole, like, she doesn't have her mother's permission because she's not old enough, I think is left behind from when she was supposed to be younger.
Possibly.
I think so.
Okay.
That's just my read on it. My personal thoughts. Personal thoughts with me.
Sure.
Anyway, okay, so we get a couple points here about how Perrin is going to tell Diera that he's going to be gentle with Fail and take care of her, but then Diera speaks first about how he needs to be strong enough to handle Fail.
Yes, and this is what I'm talking about, the whole leading with the yellow eyes thing.
Yeah.
That she mentions, that's the first thing off the bat, because Fail clearly mentioned that to her mom, because that's like the whole thing. We got the Trolloc thing down.
Wolves, yeah.
King of the Wolves, there's like more to it. But then it's the whole, you gotta show your strength.
Right.
So if Perrin had have led with the, I'll be gentle with her and I know how to take care of her, that wouldn't go well with her mom. That would be bad.
No. Because then we're going to dive right into some Saldean culture on relationships.
Yeah, just a little bit here.
It's a little confusing.
I mean, it's a little bit because the whole point, according to Diera, is that the woman needs a man who's stronger than her, otherwise she's going to come to despise him. And,
which is like, okay.
Yeah,
maybe.
okay. Like, I'm not going to...
I get that that's her perspective on
And it's
this.
not just her perspective. It seems like this is the cultural perspective. So, yeah, it's pretty obviously we disagree with this cultural perspective. Yeah. But you just got to go with it.
What else is new?
So, Saldeans believe that the woman has to be married to someone who's stronger than them. And she always remembers the first time that Davram took her by the scruff of the neck and told her,
marvelous.
I'm boss or whatever. So,
it was marvelous.
Yeah, no, it's like terrible. But that's how Fael was raised, so it makes sense why she wants Perrin to step up and be that vocally strong person.
Yeah.
Because that's how her parents did it, and that's how her culture does it. So when Perrin doesn't bite on the Diera thing, because he doesn't bite on it, he doesn't say, yeah, I'll take her by the scruff of the neck and do the same thing. He says, I don't know what that's all about. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give her what she wants when she wants it. I'm going to
be a loving husband because I want her to be happy.
Yeah, so from his point of view, that makes the most sense. But to Diera, that's a bad thing. So Davram literally steps in to save Perrin, and he like vouches for him.
Yeah.
Because he got that reaction from him.
Right. He sort of steps in.
He saw it.
And is like, that's enough, De'Ara.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay. And
Exactly.
then gives Perrin a look to be like, that's how you do it. It's like so strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing is Davram saw it. He got the reaction. He saw Perrin react. So that's why Davram approves, which is good.
And I think that Davram wants someone who's going to make his daughter happy.
Absolutely. But it's like you also got to show and you got to prove to the wife that it's like you can be that strong figurehead.
Right.
So.
Okay.
And I actually want to point out what Bashir does say to jump in and defend Perrin.
Okay.
He says, Perrin says if you take our daughter away, he'll take her back, and he seems to think that 9,000 Saldean horse are no match for a few hundred Two Rivers bowmen. And then De'Ara looks at him consideringly, and she's like, okay. So that's Bashir literally coming to Perrin's defense. Like, you know what? There is a reaction there.
Yeah.
I got it. He's good. And then he literally tells her, like, I think Perrin's a good fit, so just drop it.
Yeah.
So,
and
yeah.
Perrin is realizing that he's in a family that is super crazy.
And it's too late to do anything about that now. Shoot.
Wow. Yeah. All right. And then we're going to leave them for a bit. For
Yeah.
like who knows how long now at this point.
Yeah.
Before we see them again. Because that's a thing, right?
That's the thing sometimes.
Perrin and Fael show up and then they never come back?
Gotta see what's up.
Yeah. No, we see them in a minute. That's not true. This isn't the last.
Okay.
I thought maybe at the end of this chapter, but I
Okay.
guess we have to figure out that whole tier thing. Because now he's here.
Yep.
I don't think he's like disappeared for the rest of the book.
Okay.
Okay, anyway. Okay.
Let's do this.
Okay, perspective change to Rand. Perrin has just left, and Rand thinks that he hopes Perrin gets along well with Bashir. He also thinks that if he doesn't, maybe he'll be more open to going to Tyr.
Yeah.
You
He
know?
needs someone to head up the Samael attack.
Ah, there's the big thing.
It's literally
Why
that's
is he
what
going?
it is.
That's what it is.
Be the stand-in for Matt.
Yeah, and then now Min comes back in without knocking because now she's on the short list of people that Maidens just let go in and out of the room.
Yeah.
And she sits down on his lap immediately, and this is now like a usual thing.
This is where she sits.
Right.
She sits on his lap.
And Rand thinks, hilarious. Good prank.
Prank again.
Prank.
Yeah.
Good joke. If
And
I ignore her, she'll eventually stop this.
Yeah, and plus she's walked in on him bathing.
Mm-hmm.
And Rand does like it. He does think is like I
I
like
think
the interaction.
She needs to be a touch more assertive.
She's being really assertive.
But like
he's not picking it up.
Maybe
They need
she
to talk.
needs
They need to
be more open with what's going on.
A little bit. Like they both need to come a little bit further on this one here, so.
Perhaps. So Rand asks if she had a good chat with Fael, because apparently it didn't last very long, and Rand picks up that Min didn't exactly like her, and Min says, well, she just wants me to know that I can't hit on Perrin.
Yeah.
The end. That was basically the conversation.
Yeah, that was the big part. And then she also mentions the whole, like, Falcon and the Hawk situation.
Oh, the Falcon and the Hawk situation. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He found his Falcon. Let's see what happens.
Because she does get that Fael's like a pretty aggressive person. She takes what she wants, so we'll see.
Yeah,
okay.
I bet that Hawk also.
Who is?
Barreling.
There we go.
Probably.
Where's she at even?
Yeah.
Right? Well, we know she's in Tyrion, but...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But where's she at with, like, Perrin
stuff?
Now that, you know, we know where Perrin is?
Not a lot of progress there. So.
None.
Okay.
So now, while all this is going on, we have Lews Therin in Rand's head muttering about betrayal, and Lews Therin does not run away when
That's
he is
becoming more
told
common, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's sticking around now.
We get a little bit of a conversation back and forth, which is kind of funny.
Between him and LTT?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's starting to come out. Lews Therin is starting to respond back a little.
Sort of.
Yeah, he is.
It's not directly responding back.
It's great.
It's not responding back.
Okay, in a minute, though, we do get a full response. I'll bring it up.
Okay.
I'll bring it up.
Okay.
So Rand asks Min if she's viewed anything that concerns him, which is good.
Yes.
Good. Ask that, for sure.
Apparently that's happening all the time, and she's telling him everything.
Okay, good.
So that's a common occurrence now.
Yeah. So the fireflies and the darkness, the sparklers are stronger than ever. But with the two of them, Perrin and Rand, in the same room, the sparklers were winning.
A little bit. They're holding their own.
Yes.
Not necessarily winning, but they're not just being eaten up real fast. And you know what? There's another Taviran boy
Yep.
Maybe if you get them all in the same room together,
Then the sparklers win.
maybe they start winning.
Maybe.
Okay, that's going to be important.
Yeah, so it's really important that these Taviran guys stick together.
Yeah,
or
well,
it's going to
remember-
be bad for Rand.
Remember back to the beginning of the series, the whole like, cut off
Tripod.
one leg of the tripod, the whole thing falls
tripod.
down. So there you go.
So Rand suggests that Min doesn't come to the palace as often.
Whoa.
What?
We got another viewing from Min that's new.
Okay.
Not just the sparkler situation.
No.
Twice, Perrin is going to have to be there for Rand.
Oh, yeah.
And if he's not, something very, very bad will happen. And even if he is there, that bad thing might still happen. But if he's not there,
It definitely will be bad.
definitely super
I
bad.
felt like I just sort of said that, but you said it very
You
more
didn't-
specifically.
That is very specific, and you did
Okay.
not say that.
Okay.
So we got to make sure that's on.
Remember
Okay,
that.
2 times.
Remember it.
2
Okay.
times. Perrin needs to be there.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is it this time?
This time what?
Well, Perrin just showed up because he felt Rand needed him.
Sure.
So maybe this is one of those times. Maybe he will go to Tyr
Okay.
and be there for Rand, or else
Okay.
it's going to go bad.
Okay, possibly.
That's how I interpret that.
All right.
That's a little too immediate for a Min
For a
viewing,
min, yeah,
maybe.
it's kind of fast.
But no, I'm taking it. That's
Okay.
what I'm going with.
All right, fair.
Okay. So now Rand suggests that Min doesn't come to the palace as often, and she rejects that immediately.
Yeah. He's looking out for her because, like, oh, if the Aes Sedai figure it
It's-
out, it's going to be bad. But,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not going to happen.
No.
So,
So Min's gonna leave now, and as is the ritual every time she leaves, she gives him a kiss on the lips, and it's getting less light every time. And Rand thinks, joke,
yeah.
prank,
Good prank.
good one.
So, she's
But
coming in, sitting on his
He's
lap.
starting to be like, this is too much now.
Yeah.
This isn't a good joke anymore, Min.
He still thinks it's a joke.
Yeah, I know
That's the
that.
problem.
But he's like, this isn't that funny now.
Why-
You're taking
yeah.
it too far with the
Like,
kissing.
why is that ever even a funny thing? Like, come on,
And she's
Rand.
like, you're not squirming enough or something stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They,
Whatever.
they need to be more open with
I'll
their
see you
communication.
tomorrow. Put on clean stockings.
Yeah.
And Rand's like, what? And I'm like, what? Anyway.
I don't know. I think stockings are underwear.
I
Right?
wanted them to do it before Elaine gets here.
Okay. Well,
Let's see.
Elaine is nowhere near coming
I know
to
that.
Camelin.
I know. We got time.
We got tons of time.
I thought we didn't have as much time originally, and now
Yeah.
it seems like we have more time.
Got probably 2 weeks at least.
No, like 20 days in Abu Dar.
A week in the Wheel of Time is 10 days. Thank you very much.
Oh,
If you were
Right.
listening to the things
I
that I say,
forgot.
you would know that.
I forgot that. Okay, so now Rand's alone, and the loose Theron thoughts are starting to get louder and louder, and arguing with Rand.
Okay, not directly responding.
Directly responding.
No, not directly responding.
Give me your book.
No heckin'
I'm
way.
going to read how he directly responds. Give me.
Okay.
Go away, loose Theron. I'm not dead. I deserve death, but I'm alive, alive, alive. You are dead, Luce Theron. But here's the thing. The fact that Luce Theron is shouting, I'm not dead,
Okay.
means that he has heard Rand shout at him, you are dead.
Possibly,
No,
but
not
not in a
possibly.
direct one-to-one response. I don't know about that.
It is.
It's a little bit too close. I don't know. It's not
No,
a direct
he
response.
clearly hurts him.
He's becoming more observant of the things around him because he's talking about like the whole nobles.
And too many Aes Sedai. There's
Yeah.
9 of them. Like, he knows exactly what's going on.
He is, but it's not like a direct conversation back and forth. And I think that's what I thought you were inferring.
No, it's
so.
just that he's responding to things that Rand has said. I didn't realize it was just go away. I thought he
Yeah.
said you are dead because he always says that.
He does.
He always says you're dead, and then Luce Theron this time says I am alive, and it seemed like a response.
Yeah.
It still is. I'm still for it.
It's not a direct,
you
but
know-
yeah, I get what you're saying.
This is the most
It's getting
entertaining
It's getting closer. It's getting closer.
past life thoughts in someone's head that's ever happened in this story.
And to Rand, it is not entertaining. This is the worst.
I like it.
Okay.
It's funny. It's, it's getting a little more dangerous and a little more real,
Yeah.
but still funny.
Hopefully they can work out a schedule where it's every other day
I'll be
LTT's in control and
Oh my god.
no?
Just why can't they just work together? Luce Theron just needs to become a touch more actualized
Okay. And then they
and
can work
recognize
okay.
his role in this.
And he's like backseat driver. He's like, hey man, you should do this.
I wonder
Sure.
if...
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how, like, Teleranriad works.
Okay.
But, like...
Not that way. Whatever you're
maybe.
thinking, it probably is wrong.
Maybe.
Okay, explain more.
Maybe LoC Theron can be, like, alive in Teleranriad.
Okay, they're the same person.
I know.
LoC Theron and
He's
Randall
in there,
Thor are
though.
the same
But
soul.
he's in there having his own thoughts, so it doesn't matter.
They're the same soul. It's one person.
Shoot.
There's not two people.
But two consciousnesses.
That's what you think. That's what you're saying.
That's what I know.
Okay.
I know this.
Okay. We're going to have to read and find out.
Yeah, most things I'm saying make no sense, and I actually have no idea what's going on.
All right. We'll figure it out. Let's get to the next perspective.
Yeah. So, I didn't know who this was, because I don't listen to you.
Yeah.
Turns out,
She's
this is
the-
an Aes Sedai.
She's the brown.
Yeah.
She's the brown Aes Sedai who
She's a brown Aes
likes...
Sedai in the
yeah.
embassy. Yep.
And she likes Rand because of the whole school situation.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, oh right, she's heading into Camelin, and she wants to go because she wants to sneak in against the orders, and one of her spies is a librarian in the royal palace, and she sent for him a message to bring her a book, but he doesn't show up.
Yeah, she wants the book. She sent the message. He's not here. It's not a good situation for her.
And she's very annoyed about this, having to ask permission to do anything, especially from a man.
Yeah, she still has the Aes Sedai, like, I'm better than
Contemptuous,
everybody,
yeah.
so, yeah.
Well, and if other Aes Sedai gave this order, I think she'd have a better job of
Yeah, for sure.
listening to it, but she's like, ugh, permission?
Yeah.
So, anyway, she starts heading back to the inn, and now she has to go down some super sketchy alleyways.
Yeah, hold on. Before we get there, she also realizes that men she left the inn on the way here, she was being followed by Aiel men.
Right. Yeah, and she thought it was just to make sure she didn't go into the
Yeah.
inner city.
Yeah, possibly.
Well, that's what I thought,
Yeah,
right? When she's like, oh, I'm being followed to make sure I'm following the rules.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
But
she
now
doesn't
let's
think
talk
she's
about
like
this.
in danger.
Yeah.
So she's going down these alleyways, super sketchy. She rounds a corner and sees 5 or 6 Aiel coming towards her, laughing, talking amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
One of them mutters, "Pardon, Aes Sedai," and they all sort of press against the side. And she thinks one of them has a familiar-looking face.
Yeah.
And as she passes them, she feels a spear going through her side, which is such a shock to her that she doesn't even cry out. She tries to reach for Sidar. She gets pierced again, goes down, and she sees the face of the man she recognizes who says something to her, but
Yes.
then all goes black.
Okay. Wow.
Whoa.
What? Okay. Okay.
Initial thoughts?
Yeah. What
You
are your
want 'em?
I want your initial thoughts.
This is connected to something or someone from the Black Tower.
Interesting.
Because the first thing I thought of was that whole Rand's promise to Taim
Sure.
about if an Aes Sedai is killed,
Yeah.
he's holding Taim responsible.
I'm coming for you.
And I'm 1000% sure that there are some kind of either spies or dark friends or
Okay.
something.
So let me clarify. So you do not think these are Aiel?
No, they're Aiel.
Okay.
But
Sent,
Aiel dark friends? Perhaps.
sent from the Black Tower? You have like a bunch of different
No,
conspiracy
no.
theories going on here.
Yes, that's true. I definitely
Like all of
have
these
that.
can't be there.
Yes,
they can't all be right.
Yes, they can be.
Okay.
So we know that there are dark friend Aiel.
Sure. Yes, we know that.
around.
That's true.
We know that there are probably dark friends in the Black Tower,
Okay.
or like those students.
Statistically. Okay.
And then we also know that there are for sure spies in that Black Tower area as well.
Okay.
And so with the whole Rand threatening Taim thing about if an Aes Sedai dies, Taim's held responsible.
Yeah.
If somebody were to have overheard that or caught wind of that or know anything about that, if they want Taim out,
Yeah.
then they're going to send for an Aes Sedai to go down in Camelin.
Okay. However, this was not a murder attempt.
No, it was a message.
It was
I know.
message.
I'm
So,
telling
okay.
you, initial.
Okay, initial thoughts. Okay,
Initial
we'll break it
thoughts.
down. Okay, let's get
I'm
further.
still not completely
Yeah.
over that, but
Okay.
I think the message of the Aes Sedai being hurt.
Yeah.
It's convoluted.
It is. Okay, let's
Anyway, that was
let's
my
come back.
initial-
Let's come
my
back to I like
initial
that. I like
thoughts.
that. Okay.
Okay, so now we're gonna jump back to Perrin because he's now alone with Fael. They've left the meeting with her and her parents. And the odd serving woman, Sulin, is there waiting for him to take them to their room.
Yes, and she's terrible.
She's terrible.
I like that she's like pointing stuff out to them that doesn't need to be explained. She's explaining like the bathtubs to them of how baths work and hot water and things, and they're like, "We know, no, we get that. You can leave now."
Yeah, he sends her away and gives her a gold coin,
which is a bad idea.
Which she hates.
Yeah.
And this is where actually Fael says, I suppose whoever trains the servants doesn't know her job.
Yeah, and like a gold crown for a servant is like huge.
Yeah.
But she hates it because it's,
Exactly. Okay. So now that they're alone, Fael asks Perrin to undo her dress, and his big sausage fingers are super bad at that.
It's so funny because as he's breaking them off, he's like shoving them into his pockets. It's really funny.
Hopefully she won't notice. One time I didn't notice I lost a button on my jacket until Fael pointed it out.
Yeah, it's
and it's like, you know who pointed out the buttons were missing?
Breaking them off.
It was Fael. She'll notice her buttons are missing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
She's not asking you to undo her dress because she's hoping you don't break the buttons.
Yeah.
Let's be real about this situation. She knows it's gonna break.
She's gonna distract you with,
her body under the dress.
There you go. Yes. Yeah.
So Perrin asks Fael if she actually meant any of the nonsense she told her mother, and feels like, what? You haven't tamed me to properly perch on your wrist? And he's like, no.
No. Not even a little bit. So.
Yeah. Perrin wants to change the subject, and he says, what's the broken crown?
Yeah, and she changes the subject pretty fast.
We don't learn about it.
No, we don't. We don't know that one.
It sounds to me like an inn.
Okay.
It sounded like some sort of...
Like a pub.
Yeah. Quite honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to open a pub called The Broken Crown?
Totally. Absolutely. Yep.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. That's the vibe I got. But that's it.
You don't think it has something to do with, like, Saldea? And because they're, like, nobles?
It's possible.
Probably that.
Yeah, but
maybe.
it was mentioned along with the fact that he has other estates in the countryside.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And then I was like, oh, maybe he has a very profitable inn
called
the Broken Crown.
I was gonna be like, no, it's probably like he's the Marshal General of Saldea.
That's probably where my mind went, because
it's a title.
The inn the Aes Sedai are at are called the Crown of Roses.
Yeah, no,
and
I get that.
it was like the Broken Crown.
It would be capitalized if it was an inn or a pub.
I thought it was.
It's not.
Oh,
it's lowercase.
Whatever.
Come
I don't
on.
even care.
Gotta pay attention
I
to that.
like my version of what
I do too. I think that's much better. Davin Bashir's sidelines as a bartender at his very profitable pub.
It was such a scandal.
Yeah.
Okay. So Fael wants to talk about something different, and she says Rand has gone from the palace, and she knows this because Bane and Chia taught her sign language.
Yeah.
And the other maidens should not know that she knows this.
Yeah. So she's also she's changing the subject. She didn't just find this out. She must have found this out at some point on their, trip to the room or whatever. So, But yeah. It's more of the whole Fael's trying to get Perrin to play defense
and spy on Rand.
Yeah, and spy on Rand. It's like that's a no-go.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, because he's really against the spying thing. Fael, he basically makes her promise to not spy on Rand. However, she says, fine, I won't spy on Rand.
On Rand.
Yeah.
I can spy on the maidens.
And I can get other people to spy on Rand.
And other people can spy on Rand and report to me.
Yeah.
There's so many ways around this.
And then
it's
she's
very
like,
important we do that.
Let's do it. Yeah.
But
he is very distracted and doesn't pick up on that.
Not just let's do it. Let's make babies.
Oh, yeah, because we need to make like 6 babies.
We need at least 6 minimum.
Yes. And then there's some advice on how to make sure that certain ones are male or female. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Which Perrin is over.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah. So now, perspective change.
Yeah.
To Demira.
Okay.
She wakes up.
This is important.
She's surprised to find herself alive. I'm surprised to find herself alive.
Yep.
Here we are. She's in a room at the Crown of Roses.
Yes.
And her warder, Steven, is here. And
Not Steven.
Not Steven.
Not Steven.
Steven.
Steven, of course.
Yeah. And so is Marana.
The leader.
And someone else who healed her.
Berenicia the Yellow.
Berenicia.
Yes.
Okay.
Those are the key people here.
And she's just like, how?
Yeah,
I thought
that's a
for
big question.
sure I was going to die. Turns out, some man came into the common room claiming he wanted a drink, and then he started saying very loudly that he had seen Aiel following an Aes Sedai, and the man said the Aiel were saying they were going to kill her, and as soon as he spoke, Steven felt the attack,
Yes.
grabbed the yellow, and went running.
Yes. So this was a setup. And that's the conclusion that the Aes Sedai here come
Sounds
to.
very Dark Friendy, though, in my opinion.
Here's the thing. It was a setup, and there's a bunch of things that are off about the Aiel that stabbed her. So, number one, when they say pardon Aes Sedai, I've never seen Aiel say pardon
No.
to an Aes Sedai.
I haven't.
One of them is short.
Yeah.
And then also, if they're going to do violence, even if they are dark friends, we have, by evidence of a dark friend, they will veil themselves if they do violence.
Okay. You are making some really good points because I have another thing to say with when we learn what the guy says.
Which is also very important.
That's my tip off.
There's a whole bunch of things that are wrong about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah. So yeah, they discussed the fact that it was a setup because like literally nobody comes into the inn where there's a bunch of Aes Sedai staying.
For a drink.
But they unfortunately didn't like stop this guy from leaving because it was a very spur of the moment thing.
Yeah.
And that's when Demira adds to the story because she remembers what the man said.
She remembers what the man said.
Yes.
He said, tell the witches to stay away from the Dragon Reborn.
Okay.
You know what faction of people call Aes Sedai witches?
I know. Do you know?
Yeah, I know.
Who?
It's the White Cloaks.
Okay.
It's the White Cloaks.
Well,
and we already
yeah.
have the White Cloaks kind of meddling around.
We do.
We don't know. Well, I don't know anything.
We also don't know which faction of White Cloaks.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
There's like Fane
White Cloaks. There's Pedro Nile White Cloaks.
And then Questioners.
There's Questioners White Cloaks. So, and that's the other thing is like the Aiel don't call Rand the Dragon Reborn.
No, they don't.
They call him the Kara Karn.
Yeah, okay.
They never refer to him as the Dragon Reborn.
So I definitely didn't pick up that these aren't Aiel.
Okay.
That wasn't something I picked up. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I did pick up on the witches thing, and I did think that it was maybe like a dark friend type plot.
Sure.
So I thought maybe it was like a White Cloak orchestrated dark friend thing.
And it could be.
It was like so complicated.
We know that there's dark friend White Cloaks.
I have to say, I actually have no real clue what's actually happening here.
Okay.
This conversation makes it a little more clear.
Yeah.
I didn't know they weren't actually Aiel.
Okay, so that's like the major tip-off is like
Yeah.
they don't veil themselves.
Yeah.
One is short, she recognizes him.
Yeah.
Like they say a bunch of things that Aiel would never say. They just don't do it, even if they were going to go and like assassinate an Aes Sedai in an alleyway.
Yeah, which they wouldn't do.
Which is also really bad because now if we're going to go with the fact...
this is all terrible because the Aes Sedai here literally believe that the Dragon Reborn set this up.
Well, because they're like, oh, it was Aiel who attacked us, and there's only one man who orders Aiel because they're clearly under instructions
Tell
to
the
do
witches
so.
to stay away from the Dragon Reborn, and this is clearly a message, and now they're all pissed at Rand.
Yeah.
Which is like, fuck.
So, and Rand clearly hasn't ordered this.
No.
But it is really funny because if you remember back in chapter 27 of this book,
I do. I remember everything that was written in chapter 27. I pointed it out
I pointed it out specifically to you in chapter 27 because Rand says to the Kyrianan Tower Embassy, "It might not be safe. I would not like one of you to take a spear through your ribs by accident."
Yeah. I do remember that. I didn't know when
faction.
the fuck it was, but
yeah. But that was the Kyrianan one, so it's like different, but it's so funny because now we get one who takes a couple of spears through the ribs.
Yikes.
Okay. So it's going to get bad because now Rand apparently is being blamed for this.
Is gonna pay.
And
well,
if we're
in
gonna
their mind.
if we're gonna go with the fact that these aren't they're just like people dressed as Aiel, to do this attack. Like, that is pretty
Sneaky sneaks.
sneaky. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is it sneakier than hiding on a rooftop with a crossbow?
Yes, I would say yes. Because they're, like, wearing their white cloaks and, like...
Yeah, they were doing that.
Yeah, and those were Fane's white cloaks at that time, and then Fane was like, it was a test to see what we could do.
Well, see, I have no idea what's actually true and what's going on and what's not.
But whatever we're saying, not actual Aiel.
Not actual Aiel.
Okay.
Still percent chance related to something that someone heard Bran say.
Okay.
Related to taking out Taim.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because it's like if they want to...
Because that's the initial thing that, like, where my mind went.
But if they want to take out Taim, then they would make sure they killed her, not, like, send a message to, tell the witches
I
to stay.
agree with that.
So it doesn't quite hold up, but...
No, it doesn't at all.
Who is actually posing
when I
as...
thought she was dead, though.
Yeah.
And then, when I thought this was really Aiel, my mind did spiral, and I was like, ooh, Aiel killed Asmodean.
Nice.
Because I was like...
Who killed that guy?
Ooh, if Aiel are just, like, wandering around murdering people, then easy.
Yeah, but
and lots of Aiel are around who Asmodean would know and say, you? I don't know.
That's the question. That's the murder mystery.
But then, never mind about that.
Not that, okay.
Not that anymore.
Okay. So anyways, we get a little bit more politics here and the hierarchy stuff that I want to point out.
Ugh, I don't care.
No, we got to talk about it real quick, though, because then we're done. So, we're going to get through this. So, Marana, the leader of the embassy, is agreeing with Demira about what they got to do with Rand, because they have to show Rand that he can't treat Aes Sedai like this. But they also can't approach him too aggressively, because then they're going to ruin all their plans, because they still have a mission with the embassy here. So they talk about how if they accuse Rand openly of the attack,
just deny it.
He's going to say, I didn't do it, and they don't have any actual proof, so it's not going to help. So then they come up with a plan like, hey, maybe it's better to say nothing and then let Rand sweat it out for a couple of days, because if you did order it, that he'd be waiting to hear back about like what went on. So at this point is when Varen comes into the room.
Oh, she shows up and takes over.
This is actually pretty huge, because we talked a lot about this last chapters with Tyler, because Varen comes in and she says Rand has to respect the Aes Sedai or we can't work with him, and she says to Demira that since you were the target, you should get to decide how Rand is going to be taught the lesson. And then
Marana tries to speak up. I did pick up on this.
Yeah, she tries to, but Varen shuts her down. And then
this
tells
is like
Demira.
the first time, like, very openly.
Yeah. Marana's been deferring to Varen for like a lot of little things, but now it's a very open and blatant and in front of other people. Varen saying, no, Marana, you shut it. You let Demira talk.
Yeah.
So it's a huge power move that she's really taking the authority over. And that's why we have Demira thinking like, hey, maybe Marana, the leader of the embassy, is going to basically resign her position and give it to Varen now.
Yeah.
So,
but Marana's in this position for the same reason that other Grey and Kyrian is the leader, because as a Grey, no matter what your status or hierarchy among the Aes Sedai, you have the skills of, like, negotiation.
But you were put in charge by your Amerlin seat, more or less, right? And we also had the whole, like, Galena is also, should have been.
No, but I'm talking about this one.
But this one, yeah. But that's the thing, is Varen's not even part of this embassy,
no,
so technically
and
shouldn't.
she's like this Brown who isn't skilled in negotiation whatsoever.
But Varen's moving on in.
Which, like, it doesn't even make sense that she's taking over.
Well, we'll see what actually happens, because we get it
another
from...
notch for sketchy Varen.
Well, she hasn't technically taken over. Demira thinks that Varen might take over now.
It's a little pushy for little brown Varen.
Do you think that Varen is going to take over the embassy?
Yeah, she already has.
No, she hasn't. She hasn't technically, officially, no. She has not.
She's moving in, and it's just showing me that I can't trust her.
Okay.
Yeah, she's sketchy.
Okay.
You know when I thought she was a Black Aja in, like, book 2?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yep.
Because you're like, yeah, hey, what about you? Hey, what about you?
Yeah.
Now we're on to her still,
Somebody
and then
lied.
Anaya, so, okay.
Somebody lied.
Okay.
Somebody lied what they thought was the truth, and...
Nailing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you saying that if Varen doesn't take over the embassy, that then she's trustworthy?
No.
Okay. You just think
this is just a strike against her.
Yeah.
Sometimes she builds up trust, and this is her being like, oh, this is a little too forward for like spacey ink on her nose Varen.
Do you think that maybe she's trying to protect Rand a little bit because these Aes Sedai are getting really worked up?
I think if anything, she's trying to protect Alana, who's connected to Rand.
Alana has nothing to do with this, though.
No, I know, but that's who she has an allegiance to. We talked about that last time.
She also has an allegiance to Rand because she knows that he's the Dragon Reborn. And these Aes Sedai here in this embassy are getting really all like huffy about teaching Rand a lesson. Because we had Berenice, I think it was, saying, "Oh, we got to go and show him who's boss."
Right.
Right? So maybe
They're not
it's
used
Varen
to
playing...
dealing with...
Yeah, so maybe it's Varen playing some actual defense and being like, no, maybe like everyone calm the hell down. Demira
but
can
I
make
think
a decision.
she could do that in a little bit of a smarter way than
That's true.
stepping on the toes of the so-called leader of this embassy.
That's very true too.
Anyways,
Yes.
if you're trying to tell me that Aes Sedai don't know exactly what they're doing when it comes to like status and hierarchy,
yeah,
then I don't believe you.
I'm not saying
because
that.
she completely knows exactly what she's doing right now.
So the actual plan they come up with is that nobody's going to go to the palace today, maybe without any explanation at all. And then we're also going to probably just like let him sit on it for a couple of days and let him stew and then watch Min to see when he's getting to like a boiling point in Annecy. And then they're going to do something to teach him a lesson.
All right. Let's see how this works out for everybody.
It's going to go great.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
We're ramping up to the end.
Yes. I think we're like 10 chapters away.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. And our next episode is number 200, which is very exciting.
Yeah, like
Quite
200.
the milestone.
Like official
podcast episodes. No bonus episodes.
Yeah. Hopefully we did the math right on that.
I think I did. I just counted the episodes in each season.
Okay. All right.
That's what we're at.
Checks out. So, hey.
200.
Pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Line up 200 shots.
We'll do 200 shots for a 200th episode.
Can't wait.
It's fantastic.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so before you convince your in-laws that you really should be allowed to stay married to your wife, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Danny and Brett, edited by Danny, produced by Danny and Brett, with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, Jonathan Reese, Kaz, Vince Lewick, and Margaret, with music by Audionautics. If you are interested in supporting us and the podcast and also getting some really cool exclusive merch and access to early episodes and bonus episodes, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and us, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, things like that, for all things The Wheel Weaves, you can go to thewheelweavespodcast.com. Please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference. And tell a friend about us because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening because this really is part of the pattern now.